also in this hour, we will be talking about Insulate Britain. Extraordinary statistics. Something like 146 of those people have been arrested since they started blocking roads in mid-September. They've been arrested multiple times, so the number of arrests altogether is 749. How many people have been charged? 0. Not a single one of them has been charged with any offences. What the hell is going on? 0344 499 1000. Before we get to that, though, very pleased to welcome into the studio a charity boss, a hero to all of those of us who hate cancel culture, Nick Buckley. Welcome, Nick.
No, thank you for having me.
Now, first of all, you run a charity called Mancunian Way. Tell us when you set it up and what it's all about.
So I set the charity up in 2011. At that point, I was working for a local council. Austerity came along. I took early redundancy and used that money to set a charity up to carry on the work I was doing, which was working on the streets with kids to stop them getting involved in crime.
A very good cause. And that was all going very, very well.
Yep.
And then at a certain point, you wrote a blog daring to criticise Black Lives Matter. To pick up the story.
So it was June last year, and in June I still believed I was a free person living in a free country with freedom of speech.
Very foolish, Nick.
Talk about naive, but I was obviously naive. I still thought that's where we lived. So Black Lives Matter had a protest in London. It turned violent. I saw it on TV and I thought, I must check out who Black Lives Matter are. I'd not really heard much about them.
Was that the protest where they damaged a Churchill statue and the horse went over and all that?
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah.
The WPC fell off the horse.
Yeah, it was labelled as mostly peaceful.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah,
27
largely peaceful.
27 police officers were injured that day.
That's when the media decided that we would no longer report demonstrations properly. Very
absolutely
strange. Carry on.
So I googled Black Lives Matter, found their website, read it, and thought, oh, I'm not too keen on what I'm reading here. And I read things like defund the police, overthrow capitalism.
That's right.
And the craziest one was deconstructs the Western nuclear family.
Yeah, they want to destroy the nuclear family. Yeah.
And 20 years of my experience in this field tells me having a broken family and lack of fathers is the problem we have in society. That stems everything we have.
You know this.
I know this. Yeah. And the last thing I want is someone saying, let's break up the family even more. So I wrote a blog based on what they put. And I thought it was quite fair. I said, this is what they've put. And the last bit of the blog was, and in my experience, if we want to improve the lives of black people in the UK, these are my suggestions. Let's tackle knife crime. Let's really tackle female genital mutilation. And if we want to improve the lives of everybody, let's build some houses for people to live.
There is that.
And some people found that racist.
Because inherently you criticised Black Lives Matter.
Because I was a white person writing on a black group.
Sacred Black Lives Matter. And that's the thing about Black Lives Matter, isn't it? That it's a very clever name.
Brilliant name.
Because, of course, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
But Black Lives Matter as a slogan or a phrase, all for it. Black Lives Matter as a political extremist group, I'm not so keen, as you quite rightly say. Their aims are to smash capitalism, defund the police, and destroy the nuclear family.
Yeah.
That is not an organisation I feel I can support, and I think you agree with me.
No, absolutely. And I wanted to raise my concerns to the wider public, because nobody I knew any of this. They thought it was purely an anti-racist organisation. Yeah. And I did when I looked into it. It was only when I looked into it I thought, no.
Yeah. I'll tell you something, Nick. I don't even. I suspect they're not even an anti-racist organisation.
They're not.
They're a Marxist organisation, and a rather violent one as well. So you wrote this blog. Then what happened?
I put it on LinkedIn for the first couple of weeks. It went okay. Some people didn't agree with me, but you can have a polite conversation on LinkedIn. But then someone copied the link, put it on Twitter, and all hell broke loose. Within days, there was a petition to have me fired from the charity I founded. That got 450 signatures. The board at the charity, who I appointed, panicked, and they threw me to the wolves and sacked me over email.
And what was the reason they gave you for sacking you?
They didn't mention the article that I wrote. They mentioned bringing the charity in disrepute. And there was something else they mentioned as well. It was a smokescreen. It was a one-line email saying you dismissed immediately.
And these were trustees that you'd appointed.
Yeah, I knew one for 15 years, one for 9 years, one for 7 years. These were friends.
And just remind me, how long had the charity been going then?
At that point, 9 years.
9 years. So you'd worked with these people for 9 years, and they kicked you out because you expressed some concerns over what Black Lives Matter is really about.
I don't think it was the concerns. I think they saw what was happening and thought the mob want blood. We either give them Nick or the mob may come for us. And I think I was a sacrifice.
So in your view, it was cowardice on their part.
It was cowardice.
Yeah. So, pick up the story. What happened? You decided you weren't going to take this.
So the first week, I did take it. I was a broken man the first week. It was only the second week I heard a little voice inside saying, "What are you doing? Fight back, stand up, brush yourself down." Yeah. This is the message I've been giving tens of thousands of kids over 2 decades. Don't be a victim. You know, walk forward. You can beat this. And I took the advice and decided, no, I'm not having this. I need to save my reputation. Otherwise, life will be hard for me. Yeah. So I did an interview with the Mail on Sunday. That went amazing. Then the Free Speech Union got involved. Toby Young. If you like talking, you have to join the Free Speech Union because you may need them one day. And then they got me a solicitor involved. He looked at my case and within hours said, this is clear cut. This is unfair dismissal. Breach of contract. So we approached the board and we said to them, you all resign or I'm going to personally sue you all. And within 18 hours, they'd all resigned.
How many of them were there?
4 of them, but 3 are classed as close friends.
So are they your close friends anymore? I wouldn't imagine so.
They've never spoken to me since.
Nearly swore then. Explain to me exactly. I mean, I've read this before that they were warned that they were in clear breach of their contracts. How was that? What was the breach of contract that they broke?
I hadn't breached any of the points in my contract. I wrote the blog as a person, as Nick Buckley, not connected to the charity. This wasn't speaking as a charity. This was me. The article itself was not offensive, was not slanderous. It was factual, and they hadn't followed any other procedure. So they basically breached my contract.
Yeah. So you got your job back.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see. So, it wasn't within their remit to take some kind of political viewpoint on what you, as a private individual, has said about Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely, and we had hundreds of years of this before unions came along and started fighting for people. 100 years ago, if you were Catholic, many places you weren't allowed to work. And unions fought against this. But now we have our modern trade unions now, are part of the problem. They don't stick up for the worker anymore. Yeah. So what do the workers do? They're being bullied and they're being persecuted.
Yeah. See, cancel culture is a real scourge in this country. It's a cancer. Mm. Cancel culture is a cancer, and it's having a very pernicious effect on this nation. Did these trustees that all had to resign, did you never get the chance to say, I beat you?
No, and I don't think I ever wanted to.
I would have enjoyed that if I was you.
What I wanted was an explanation.
Yeah, no,
I wanted Nick, maybe Nick, we're so sorry it went like that, but at that moment, we were scared, and we got these threats personally, and we made the wrong decision, and we're sorry, and that's all I want.
I'm going to ask you some general questions after the break, but let's just keep with the story until we get to the break. Did any of them, your friends then, did any of them call you after the Black Lives Matter article that you wrote to say, listen, mate,
nope.
The brown stuff's hit the fan, and they didn't. They just...
I got 2 emails. One email saying we're having a meeting tonight, and one more email 2 days later, you're sacked immediately.
And Did that make you realise the kind of country that we're turning into? I mean, were you kind of naive about this aspect, this rising scourge of cancel culture and wokery before you fell foul of it?
Absolutely. You know, I knew what was going on to a very limited extent. I never thought it could happen to me. I thought my job, my charity was solid. Never thought it could happen to me. And then when it does, you realise how delicate life is, how delicate your quality of life is, that things can change where you have no expectation and no power. Other people can pull the rug from under you. Yeah. And that was what was most upsetting was the people online didn't upset me. They were idiots calling for my blood. Who cares? I don't know them. But 3 friends, that still hurts today.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, we're all in a very fragile state. One wrong word in the wrong place and your life can be ruined. And that is fundamentally, profoundly wrong. That's the trouble with cancel culture. Most people, probably all people who fall foul of cancel culture just do not deserve it. And yet, as a society, we've come to a point where we accept it. Oh, well. He said a racist word. Yeah. And that might be someone who for 40 years has done great work. Sometimes maybe they did slip up just a little bit, but that's no reason to ruin their lives, to take away their jobs. This is wrong, and I never thought I'd see it in this country. Nick, great to talk to you. We will resume our conversation in just a little while. I'm Kevin O'Sullivan, and this is Talk Radio.